On FM, on mobile and online. This is Spark Reports with Ethan Lowerson-Marshall.
Coming up, Parliament has officially been dissolved, marking the start of the general election campaign. Plus, we speak to a mother injured in a multi-vehicle car crash with her 11-month-old baby on the A690. And new laws come into force later this month for electronic cigarettes. Will you be affected? But first tonight, while we've been away, Theresa May has called a snap general election. But what actually is a snap election? Basically, we're heading to the polls again, with voters in Sunderland split into 3 constituencies: Sunderland Central, Washington and Sunderland West, and Houghton and Sunderland South, to elect our local MPs and ultimately decide who'll govern the country. Beth King explains more.
A snap election is exactly what it says on the tin. It's an election called earlier than expected. And given that we weren't anticipating another election until 2020, the Prime Minister's announcement on April 18 definitely falls under the realms of unexpected. However, she first had to hold a vote in the House of Commons to authorise the election, which took place the following day. Basically, she was legally required to get permission from 2/3 of MPs before going ahead. The MPs voted to allow the early election by a majority of 509, with Jeremy Corbyn and Lib Dem leader Tim Farron both welcoming the move. This now means the election can go ahead as planned, with the polls opening on Thursday, June 8th from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. However, the deadline to register to vote is Monday, May the 22nd. So if you have not registered by then, you will not be able to vote. Visit gov.uk/register to vote to make sure you can have your say. It literally only takes 5 minutes. Spark Reports, I'm Beth King.
Thanks, Beth. Now, sticking with the election, and today Parliament has officially been dissolved ahead of the June election, which officially marks the start of the election campaign. And Theresa May has used today to reinforce the importance of this vote ahead of Brexit negotiations. Georgina Early has a rundown on the current political landscape.
I have just been to Buckingham Palace for an audience with Her Majesty the Queen. The 2015 Parliament is now at an end.
Parliament is dissolved on the 25th working day before any general election. This now happens automatically at 1 minute past midnight on Wednesday the 3rd of May, so in practice on the evening of Tuesday the 2nd of May. So as of today, MPs stop being MPs. They also lose their pay and privileges, and in a legal sense, there is no Parliament. After meeting Her Majesty, Theresa May spoke outside Downing Street and said the winner of this election would have a key job in a post-Brexit Britain.
If we do not stand up and get this negotiation right, we risk the secure and well-paid jobs we want for our children and our children's children too. If we let the bureaucrats of Brussels run over us, we will lose the chance to build a fairer society with real opportunity for all.
Meanwhile, today, the Prime Minister has accused European politicians and officials of seeking to influence the general election through threats. The Prime Minister said the UK's position had been misinterpreted and the European Commission's position had hardened. Today also marks the start of the short campaign. Activists, candidates and party leaders will pound doorsteps, party battle buses will fill up and posters will appear on fences, windows and just about everywhere across the nation. Spark Reports, I'm Georgina Early.
Thanks, Georgina. This is Spark Reports. I'm Ethan Lowerson-Marshall. A young North East mother and her 11-month-old daughter both escaped death in a 3-car collision last week. Ellie Lyle spoke with her earlier today.
19-year-old Tyler Mackey was in a taxi with her little girl Isabella on the A690 on Thursday when the accident happened. She remembers the moment the vehicle flipped and landed upside down.
It felt like I was going to die. I know people say this, like your life flashes before your eyes. It flashed before my eyes. I thought I was dead.
The pair, along with the taxi driver, were helped out of the car by members of the public before being taken to hospital via ambulance. Luckily, neither Tyler, Isabella or their taxi driver sustained any serious injuries. Tyler, however, was left with internal bruising, but she is more concerned about young Isabella.
She's not the same as what she used to be. She used to be like a very happy and giggly child, loved everybody, and now she's just totally afraid of everybody, and she's got nightmares now. She wakes up in the middle of the night screaming.
However, she told us they are all lucky to be alive.
I think I have guardian angel or something up there. I really do.
Spark Reports, I'm Ellie Lyle.
Thanks, Ellie. Now some news in brief, and the China Weir Fire and Rescue Service have been subjected to 2 further attacks in Gateshead over the bank holiday weekend. On Sunday evening, a crew came under attack from a gang of 5 youths throwing stones and a bottle at their vehicle. The following afternoon, a crew attended a rubbish fire at a skate park, where they were approached by 12 youths who repeatedly threw missiles at officers and the appliance. Whilst no one was injured in the latest attacks, they follow a number of recent attacks in Sunderland last month, where 1 firefighter suffered facial injuries and 2 others were assaulted. Plus, Northumbria Police has continued to crack down on motorbike disorder in Sunderland. In recent weeks, there have been an increasing concerns of off-road motorbikes being ridden inconsiderately, irresponsible and often illegally. They've been occurring in areas around Dogsford Park and Hendon, in particular around Burton and Moorside. Off-road motorbikes are being ridden along footpaths and fields and on the old railway line, and even on the beach at Hendon. Police have warned this is causing not just a nuisance to the local community, but is also a danger to dog walkers, horse riders and young children. And we've all complained about internet speeds and lack of service altogether, but it seems actually the North East is one of the best areas in the country when using 4G on your mobile. Middlesbrough has topped the list of the best places for 4G availability, while Sunderland ranked 3rd best in the country. Meanwhile, Wearside came 9th on a list of the best 4G speed across the UK, with Newcastle 11th and Teesside 15th. Sport now, and it's understood that Sunderland manager David Moyes won't make a decision about whether to remain in the role until the end of the season. With more on that and the rest of your sport, here's Dominic James.
Thanks, Ethan. Yes, reports suggest Moyes will walk away from the Black Cats after the club's 10-year stay in the Premier League came to an end as relegation was confirmed on Saturday. But his future is unclear following talks with the club's hierarchy, including owner Ellis Shaw and Chief Executive Martin Bain. However, former Sunderland fullback Phil Bardsley has been telling Sky Sports News owner Ellis Shaw needs to reveal his plan.
He has to let the fans know what direction the club's going to go in, whether he's going to sell the club or they're going to bring someone else in, or David Moyes is going to continue as manager. I think it's only fair on the fans and the people that pay good money to go and watch football up there week in, week out. I think it's only fair on them that, they get some answers.
Meanwhile, Sunderland and Bournemouth have been charged by the Football Association with failing to control their players during the Premier League match at the weekend. It's over the reaction to a Fabio Bruni challenge on Lewis Cook later in the game. Both clubs have until Friday evening to respond. Spark Reports, I'm Dominic James.
Cheers, Dom. This is Spark Reports. I'm Ethan Lowerson-Marshall. Showbiz now, and a wave of cheesy puns has poured in over the internet, and it was reported that Cheryl and Liam have named their newborn son Bear. Sophie Dishman has a reaction and the rest of your showbiz.
Thanks, Ethan. Yes, the Sun newspaper said the pair picked the name more than a month after his birth on March 22nd because it suited him. It added that little Bear would also be taking his father's surname. But while many commented that it was an adorable name, others could not resist making a joke. Among the stream of memes featuring babies dressed as teddies on Twitter, many fans have hoped the newborn can bear the pain of this name, or whether he was just better off being named Window. And finally, Corey Shim Ward says he's going to stop taking off his shirt for a bit, so he can put on some weight and give his daughter bigger cuddles. The 32-year-old actor who plays Aidan Connor in the soap became a dad in December, and has told Good Morning Britain he's never really been into the six-pack thing and would rather eat a burger. Spark Reports, I'm Sophie Dishman.
Don't we all? Thanks, Sophie. Now, new vaping laws are coming into play later this month. The Tobacco Products Directive will limit the strength and size of e-cigarettes as part of changes in the smoking industry. Katie Baggett has been finding out more.
Yes, vapers will not escape a raft of new tobacco laws coming into force later this month. Vaping allows you to inhale nicotine without other harmful substances in tobacco, but has been criticised for being a gateway to smoking as they encourage a new generation of smokers. But traditional smokers will be faced with fresh legislation which will ban packs of 10 cigarettes, begin a phasing out of menthol brands, and see even more graphic packaging. Some of the requirements involve restricting e-cigarette tanks to a capacity of no more than 2 millilitres and banning certain ingredients such as colourings and caffeine. But there has been some controversy surrounding this issue, as the NHS agreed that vaping is better for a smoker's health than regular tobacco. Meanwhile, earlier this year, public health experts called for flavoured e-liquids to be banned to stop young children developing a taste for the potentially dangerous devices. So in response to this, we asked the people of Sunderland on a poll via our Twitter page whether they thought that people who vape should be included in the anti-smoking law. 83% said yes, while 17% said no. What do you think about this controversial topic? You can tweet us using the hashtag SparkReports. Spark Reports, I'm Katie Baggett.
Thanks, Katie. And today has marked the 10-year anniversary since the disappearance of Madeleine McCann. The 3-year-old went missing in Portugal while on holiday with her parents in 2007. Charlotte Price has this report.
The police chief leading the hunt to find Madeleine has said investigators still have a line of inquiry to explore as they try to solve the mystery of her disappearance a decade ago. This week in Praia de Luz, where Madeleine vanished in 2007, there were still signs of ill feelings towards the McCanns. Several stop signs have had the words McCann Circus painted on them, though efforts have been made to scrub some of them clean. However, former Home Secretary Alan Johnson says he's surprised Leicestershire Police didn't do anything about the dossier of online abuse against Madeleine McCann's parents. Jim Gamble, former head of the Child Exploitation and Online Protection Centre, says people should think twice before they post on social media.
What I've wanted from day one is to find out what has happened to that child. And when we do, I hope those people that have said and done things that were cruel and unkind and unnecessary reflect on the part they'll have played in creating a legacy of bile on the internet.
The McCanns said last week that they avoided social media and tried to protect their twins from the abuse. Spark Reports, I'm Charlotte Price.
Thanks, Charlotte. You can tweet us your thoughts on tonight's programme using the hashtag SparkReports. To listen again, visit our website, sparksunderland.com/SparkReports. I'm Ethan Lowerson-Marshall. We're back tomorrow night at 5:50 with Charlotte Price. Thanks for listening. Good night.